Today I'm going to show you exactly how you can scrape the Twitter accounts of your choice, scrape their posts, and then provide research around the post using GPT-4o, and then create unique aspects of that post before putting it into a Google Sheet. And this is exactly how it works. So we have a trigger here. It triggers Bright Data to scrape using Twitter. In Bright Data, we have an x.com scraper. We're using this one right here, where we scrape posts based off a URL. And then you provide all of the URLs you want. At the moment, I only have one for Kevin O'Larry. And then what this will do is it will scrape Twitter for as many posts as you like. Once the scraper is done, it'll trigger this webhook and this flow will be executed. What it does is we research context around the post using AI. And then we create the Twitter post using the research we have gathered and also using the tweet itself to create a unique aspect to that post. And then we pass the JSON and put it into a Google Sheet that looks like this. We have 3 different tweet options. So I've prompted AI to give you 3 different options from one tweet. So that you can pick and choose what ones you like the best. We also have the source, i.e. the original tweet. And then we also have the source URL being the link to the tweet itself. Okay, so I haven't really created much of a plan on how I'm going to build this. I've just created a super rough guide on what I'm going to do. So generally what I want to do here is scrape Twitter. Then I want to use AI to create draft posts from competitors' profiles that we scrape. And then I would also like to search the web a little bit with ChatGPT's search function to get some wider context into the posts that we could schedule, and then add those posts into a Google Sheet. And for this, I know that I want to use make.com, of course, Twitter, and then also a scraping tool called Bright Data. Bright Data, similar to Apify, we're going to scrape Twitter using Bright Data. So to get started, I guess if we go back here, I need to scrape Twitter, right? So let's go to Bright Data, and I'm going to go to Web Scrapers, then Web Scrapers Library. Then what I'm going to do is you can find x.com here, or you can just simply search x.com, and it should show up. There we go. Now we have 3 different built-in scrapers. You can do ready-to-use datasets, but these, they cost a bit more money. They're pre-scraped information, and more information is always added to like this big database that Bright Data has. For us, we're not interested in that because we want to scrape it ourselves. We want to scrape new data and we want to choose the data that we scrape, so we're going to be using one of these 3. And let's look with posts, collect by URL. No, we don't want that one. The reason we don't want that one is because it's collect by URL. We're looking for the discover. So collect by URL, that would just scrape the contents to one Twitter posts that we define. So who's in the, I guess I want to search, let's do our friend here, Nixrav, Nikki. Okay. He doesn't post on here too much. But anyway, what this collect by URL post scraper would do is you would have to provide the URL to a specific post for the scraper to scrape. So you would have to click on a post and provide this URL. But of course, we want to scrape multiple different posts from a profile. So I want to instead provide like a Twitter URL or maybe a username or something like that. So then I can scrape multiple of their posts. So that's kind of what I want to do. So I don't want collect. I would like collect Twitter post URLs. So that's the one. I'm going to use no-code scraper first because I always like to test within the third-party app to ensure that I'm actually putting in the correct information. So let's test this out. I'm going to delete those inputs and add my own input. We will go back here. I rarely go on Twitter, really. I'm more of a LinkedIn guy. I'm going to limit the output to, let's say, 2. Start collecting. Now this is going to go ahead and scrape 2 posts from Nick's Twitter. Yeah, I'm more of a LinkedIn guy. This is where I hang out most of the time. And this is where I post most of the time. Instead of Twitter, you can see in Twitter. I don't really do much. I post occasionally, but really, look, these in January, so long ago. I post much more frequently. Although I could just post on LinkedIn and then just take that content over to Twitter. Although I know the behavior between LinkedIn and Twitter is vastly different, like the users on there. I've heard that Twitter, works much better with controversial posts, and I found that LinkedIn, I don't think it matters as much. But I'm no content expert. Okay, here, it's ready. So I've got 2 records. Looks like it worked, so that's cool. You can see the output if you download it as a CSV, JSON, one of these formats. For me, I just want to know it worked, and it worked, so that's good. I can see the number of records is 2, meaning there's 2 posts it's scraped. So this is all good. Now, what I can do is I'm going to go back into the scraper, and then back into that same one, and this time choose Scraper API. So then I can make an HTTP request to it from make.com. So now we'll go to the API request builder, and here is really the important part, all of this. But before I do that, I want to add some things. I want a limit per output into the number of records per one output you would like. So I'm just going to put a random value in there, because once I put a value in here, it will automatically be inserted into here, which is super helpful, because this here is all the information that we're going to be putting into the HTTP request in make.com. I'm also going to delete 2 of these. You can see there, this just got smaller when I deleted both of these. And what I want to test out, what I haven't tested out yet, is send to webhook. I would like to provide a webhook URL, and I'd like to be notified through a webhook when this is complete. So I'm going to create a new scenario, and I'm just going to, on this one, create a custom webhook. I'm going to add a new one. Example bright data. What's this one going to be? Twitter post scraper. Then it said it wanted, although I don't really want to add authorization header. The authorization header will be included in the request. I don't really want an authorization header. Okay, I'm going to send dummy data to here. So I'm going to just save this and see if this works. I'm going to copy this address to clipboard. I'm going to head back into Bright Data, paste it there, and then I'm going to command S to save. Oh, I have to save this. I'm going to command enter to run on Mac. Then I'm going to test webhook. And this did indeed send data. So hopefully every time this runs, once we set up the HTTP request, this will be triggered. Hopefully. Because that worked, which is good. So now we've put that there, that should have automatically updated this. And what else? Anything else? I think this is all the fields we would want. Now, if we look in here, we can see we have an authorization header. We can see by this H, it's an authorization header. So before we do this, we need to create a new scenario that's going to trigger this scraper. So I'm going to go back and create a new scenario. Then I'm going to search in Bright Data, go to the bottom, make an API call. The URL, I'll put that in first then. The URL, so this is the request URL. This is at the bottom here of this curl. And we can just copy that. Copy it all. It's pretty long. There we go. And if we look into this URL, we have to delete this first part. Delete it. You can see down here, we have to enter the path that is after this. So we have to delete this. This should not be in the header. Originally, you saw I just deleted this before. This shouldn't be here. So we delete it. And the rest of this is the path. So / datasets v3 trigger, the dataset ID is the ID to that scraper. So you can also find the dataset ID in the URL here. When you enter the scraper, it's going to be this GD underscore with that little ID there. And then we have an endpoint equals this, which is our webhook. So when we put the webhook in there, you cannot just paste your webhook raw into this URL. You can see this is what it looks like raw. But what Bright Data does is they encode it. You can see these percents and things like that. It looks a little bit different because they encode it. So this is the helpful thing about putting the webhook into here. Bright Data automatically does really all the heavy lifting for you. It creates all of this. And once you know how to do it, and you know that Bright Data does it for you, because I didn't know in previous times, once you know this, then it's super easy to do. It really is. And then the format is JSON. We're doing uncompressed. This is everything Bright Data just does for us. Includes errors equals true, type is discover new, and this is all done. And this can also be helpful. That limits per input is equal to 3. So this, whatever this number is in the end, it could be 8. That means you want to scrape 8 posts. If you do 100, that means you have a limit of 100 posts. For testing purposes, I want to limit it to 2. And I know this will be a post request because we are posting, we are sending data, we are sending a notification to Bright Data to scrape some information through this path or request URL. Then we need to add a header. If we go back here, we can see that we need an authorization header. So let's copy that and put that in the key. In the value, we put this bearer and this long code. Fortunately, Bright Data once again gives us this information, makes it super easy. So we can just copy in. This is our API key here within Bright Data. So they automatically fill that in for you. It really is quite good how they do all this. I do like it. And then we have a start date, end date. Yes, I almost forgot. This part here, where the square bracket starts and the square bracket ends, you can see the start of the square bracket, the end of the square bracket, and it's everything after D. D stands for data. Data also means JSON. So everything where the start of the square bracket is and the end of the square bracket, this is all JSON, and this is what we put in the body of the HTTP request. I want this to look a bit better, so I'm going to say, can you format this JSON? Just so I can make it a little bit more readable. See, there we go. And now I'm going to paste that simply in this body here. And here we can provide the URLs to the profiles we want to scrape. I'll just scrape mine this time, why not? And the start date can also be, I believe, in this format, so we don't have to do all of that. I believe this last part here is the exact time. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that, but I would prefer it just to specify the date, and even then, I don't want that there just yet. But I think later on, I'll add a filter, so this basically runs once a week, and then we only scrape the past 7 days worth of posts, because if we scrape once a week, we scrape a user's Twitter post once a week, we don't want to re-scrape things I've already posted, and likely, or for me, anyway, in the automation space with things moving relatively quickly, I'd only want to get the latest post, the latest news, right? And come to think of it, I'd actually probably run this once a day because people post very regularly on Twitter and news can come up very quickly. So I think I'd actually run this once a day, and then I'll make the start date one day before today. So today's the 24th. I'd say I'll make the start date the 23rd, and yeah, or I'll have to figure that out, and then I'll make the end date today, or I'll try and make it the specific time right now. But we'll see. We'll get to that later. I'm going to remove it for now. Keep them empty. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger this scenario. I'm going to trigger it And then I'm going to run this webhook, and hopefully the data is sent to this webhook once the scrape has been complete. But first off, let's trigger this. We can see we're provided with a snapshot ID. We can use this later to also download the data that was scraped if we would like. I'm going to run this. Has it already finished? Oh, that was quick. That was very quick. Let's see. Use existing data. Inputs. Oh, it did work. If you watched one of my previous videos on the, what was it? Also the end, no, it's a YouTube comment scraper. I mentioned at the end I tried to figure out how to do this, and yeah, I just did it now, like trying to connect different scenarios and being able to identify when a scraper is done. And I tried to do this exact thing using webhooks, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. And it turns out the solution was super easy, and Bright Data just does it all for you, because I was trying to do it all, but it turns out Bright Data just does it all for you. So it's very nice. No public posts were found on the profile. Okay, so it says no posts were found. I don't know why that did, but we do know Nikki worked. So let's use him. Let's change this and paste that in there. Let's run this. We get that snapshot ID again. We shouldn't need that if it triggers the webhook, because then the webhook will, I'd assume, automatically pull this data. I haven't actually used the webhook in particular before. I'm not sure if it just sends notification. I believe it would only send a notification. Yes, and if it does only send a notification, I have some ideas in mind about how I will retrieve the data from the scraper itself. So let's see, let's look in here. We will likely have to refresh, although it looks like it's finished. Looks like it's finished. Let's go to logs. The first one was 0, the second one was 2, which is 2 posts, which is correct. It hasn't triggered the webhook yet. The only thing I could think of is perhaps it hasn't triggered the webhook because it hasn't triggered the webhook because it needs to process the data itself and format it in a correct way, or it's because when we added a webhook, we didn't add an authorization header. We did JSON, but we tested it and it worked twice, so then that would mean that something is wrong with the data. Something is not being processed, or we do indeed need an authorization header, because what does it say here? Enter your URL where you would like to receive automated updates. Ensure that your endpoint is properly configured to handling incoming requests. Provide the authorization token or credentials that will be included in the request headers. For secure communication for the endpoint. I really want to figure this out, because this was the issue last time, actually. I didn't copy it directly from here last time, but there's something wrong. There might be something wrong with the setup of the webhook, perhaps. Maybe if you go into webhooks, I'm just gonna refresh the page. Well, it's run 3 times. Wait a second. Success webhook was started. Yeah, nothing was added there. What's in this one? No public posts were found. So it could be something, perhaps, if we go edit here and we go down show advanced with maybe it's a get header. But generally, it will be a post header, and I don't have the control over that. So I'm going to try to figure this out. If I cannot figure this out, I have an alternative way that I'm going to do this. Okay, so I figured out how to do this, and I'm really happy I figured out how to do it. So there's a small change I had to fix. Right, so the data structure that was being passed to the webhook, the way the data was being passed to the webhook could not format or, I guess, comprehend that data. It could not it could not retrieve and then format that data in a way that looks nice to us. But I don't care what the data looks like. I just want the webhook to be triggered. So what I did was very simple. There's one small thing that I changed. All I did, the webhook's the exact same. I clicked edit. I went to advanced settings and then I tick JSON pass-through and I say yes. I click save, save. If it's the first time you're doing it, you might have to click redetermine data structure, but that's the setting that you have to tick. And now, if I run this again, okay, so all you have to do is you go here and you run this, go here, wait for this. We're going to wait for new data. And now this is going to go ahead and scrape. We can see it's running here. It's going to scrape 2 results. Once this has finished running and the status is ready, BrightData is automatically going to send a notification to the webhook. Here we go. We got a value and we get this long string. So before, when we didn't have that string enabled, the webhook was trying to format this all nicely so it could be good for us as humans to interpret. But all I want is for this webhook to be triggered. So then we get plonked with this big chunk of data. So that's good. It's good. We're getting the data along with a notification to see when it's finished. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can pass this JSON, if I can make this JSON look nicer. So I'm going to go to JSON, parse JSON, this one right here. The JSON string is going to be this value. Let's see if this works. Let's, use existing data. There we go. Now we get this nicely formatted. This is all nicely formatted into the data that we got from the Twitter scraper. So let's see what we got. We got 1 bundle, we got 2 bundles. Okay, so we got 2 posts here. I made 139k in Feb. Each morning I still 1 respond, 2. Okay, so it doesn't keep it in the same format. It chunks it all into one piece of text, which isn't the end of the world because in the end we're going to be feeding this into AI to identify things that we can posts that we can create out of this. Although I wouldn't post about that because, of course, for each person it will be different. You want to do more informational posts. So that's just something I'd have to talk with about the AI. And also it would come down to the type of profiles you choose. Like for me, probably actually I wouldn't do this. I would probably instead do like some AI information thing. So like as soon as someone posts about something, I immediately create a post on it. So like OpenAI, for example, we could watch for new posts, and then as soon as they roll out a post, we can rejig it in our own words using AI in our own personal way we write, and then also do some background context, background research using the ChatGPT's OpenAI's research tool. So I think I'll probably want to do like some AI news, maybe something like that. News, or even automation news of some sort, perhaps. AI news, get some big thing. Your agent, your AI agent. This one could be good. I want to look for some big one, like some big profile. Global Eye News, ChatGPT, maybe I could do AI automation. AI automation weekly, 0 posts. Huh, this is a bit annoying. You know, I forgot this guy's name. What's his name? Nate Herc. Usually he posts, I'm not sure if he posts on here. He does? I only has 25 posts because I know he posts a lot about updates for things like N18 on his YouTube channel. Founder and CEO of N18. I'll actually follow him. I think maybe I could just follow the N18 and see what they post about. Because then, like, automatic node naming is here. I think this could be interesting. Yeah, let's do this. Let's scrape this one. I think scraping company profiles would be better for my case. Yeah, like I said, I want to get more informational posts so I can be the first to report on it type thing. Yes, so I'm just going to do this one for now. N18. Could also do make.com now I think of it. Okay, anyway, we've got this now. I think that, so I don't want to scrape each time, I'll need to set all of this data. So let's set multiple variables. Let's add these variables. Before I do this, I'd like to scrape some of N18's posts because then I can kind of get a better feel for what we're going to be feeding into AI and what I'm looking for. Yeah. So I really want to get this one because this is something I'd feed into it and I want to build something around, I think. So what's that? That says second post. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to scrape their profile. I'll say 3. And then I'm going to scrape this. And then I'm going to run this. Wait for this to go. This has been scraping very quickly. I mean, it's only 2 posts, but it's still been nice and quick, which is always good. Let's give this a second to run. There we go. It's finished. Notification. We should have 3 bundles here. Let's see what one it is. Hey, N18's here for the first time. Kick off your Monday. Automate PDF summarizing. More. Try now. When are these posted? 9 July. I want to get the latest posts. I just thought of that now. I want the latest ones. Can I get the latest? Ah, that's what the time is for. Wait a minute. This is what the time is for. End date is, so I believe it's year, or it's month, day, year. I think the format they do it. So I'm going to go to the date section. I'm going to go format date now. And I believe it's month, date, and then 4 years. And the start date I'm going to do, I'm going to hard code this. When was it posted actually? The start date is going to be, oh, today. I could do yesterday, the 23rd. Let's do that. The 23rd. So what is it? It's month 07 23 2025. Let's do that. Let's save this, run this. Run this. Now hopefully we get this post. This is the post I want to test with. Because I think, yeah, again, that's what I'm going to be filtering based off of. I'd filter out personal success stories and upcoming events and things like that. I wouldn't really want to create a post on that. So that's something I would filter out. Okay, here it is. No public posts were found in the profile for the specific time period. Huh. Let's see. 07 23 2025. Maybe I have the wrong structure. It's year, month, day. It's the other way around. It's year, month, 2025, month, day. So it's year, month, delete all these, month, day. Let's try it now. Hopefully this works now. I'm just looking at the format they have within the API request builder. And it looks like they've the end date, you can see it's 2024, year, month is 09, day is 21 because it's not 21 months, so that has to be a day. Okay, let's see. It's got no output again. That is odd. No public posts were found. Start date 2025-07-23. But it's right here. The only thing I can think of is that there's some issue with my date format, or it's too early. Like, it's too recent that it's been posted, although we would need it to be relatively recent, or I'm thinking for my use case, I want it to be recent. So I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna get 10 posts and see if there's any posts that are more recent than this. So I'm gonna run this again. Let's get 10 posts. Let's wait a second for this to run. I'm going to get back to you guys once this is done. It might take a bit longer than before. Okay, so it actually ran pretty quick. It's already done. It's been like maybe 30 seconds. And I want to look at the date. So there's 2nd of July. I'm looking here. 8 July, 3 July, 9 July, 10 July. What's this one? Where is this? 9 July. This one, 4 July, 7 July, 10 July, 9, 3, 8, 14, and 9. So the latest was 14 now. Let me see if I can get any date. I feel like it's just my date format is not right. If I go 2025, 07, 24, 2025, 07, 01. So the 1st of July to the 24th, which is today. Let's see. Let's give it a run. There we go. Okay, so that worked. Do we have 10? We do have 10. Okay, now I'm going to do from the 10th of July to the 24th. Let's run that. I just want to see if perhaps it cannot scrape 2 recent posts. Let's see. Does it have 10? It has 2. How many posts does it have? July 22, 21. I mean, there's a lot of posts. It's got July 10, July 10, July, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 posts. And we only have 2 bundles, one on the 10th and another one on the 14th. So let's kick off your Monday. Kick off your Monday. Where is that? 14, where's 14? 17, 16, 15. Kick off your Monday. So it stops here. And then it doesn't scrape any more after this. I'm thinking maybe it hasn't entered some part of the Twitter algorithm, perhaps. Maybe the only thing I can think of, maybe we try off another one. It might just be the N8N Twitter account. Does Make.com not have a brand? Make.com. How do you find like Make.com like a profile? Make.com news, maybe, is it? New update. Here, make. Let's try this. Okay, so they had one 19 hours ago. Now I just want to see if it can get recent posts. It would be a big shame if it couldn't. It really would. Let's try this. Let's do that. Run this. With this new profile, fingers crossed, we get some recent posts. Because we have 19. Let's see how many posts it has. They have a lot of posts. They have even more posts. Looks like. Than in A10. Doesn't look like they post. Oh, they do. Makes MCPs cool. I think they should add like to In810 the MCP that make.com has. Because you can actually connect to MCP servers and it's a nice little feature. I'd like to see In810 do the same. No public posts were found on the profile. Dead page. What does dead page mean? Let's see if we can get earlier ones. Or let's see if it can get any at all. Let's delete the end dates and the dates altogether. Let's run that. Run this. I'm not sure what it means by dead page. It might be... Unless, like, Twitter's security has gotten drastically better and drastically improved. Yes. Let's see what happens here. How many do we have? When is this? 2 July, 17 April, 25 April, 8 July. 17 April. I mean, I don't want April. I definitely do not want April. So let's do start date of 2025 0701, 2025 0724. Let's see. Or maybe I need to do 23. Maybe I could try 23. Maybe the 24 is putting it off because we're only halfway through the 24th. Maybe I'll try that. Okay, how many do we have? We have 3. 8 July, 2 July, 8 July. Maybe I try off a personal profile. Does it get the latest one? You know, I'm going to try off Nick again. So, I'm going to see here. It might just be with company profiles, perhaps. I'm just trying to narrow down the issue here on what could be the possibilities as to why this is going wrong. I'm also going to limit this now back down to 3. Let's see what happens here. Is it finished? Huh. That's true. His last post was on May 22. Let's try another profile. I was like, nope. I was gonna say like, no. No posts. Oh, this guy has a big following. Okay, I don't really know what he does, but I just want to see if this works. So let's try it. Let's try it. Try this. Fingers crossed this works, because then at least we could do personal profiles instead of company profiles. I'd love something to work. What does this guy do? Director. Film Award. Times Radio. Let's go and look back here. 4 July, 13 July, 4 July. Okay. When was his last post? 2 hours ago, 6 hours. This guy posts a lot. Okay, and so we only got a few posts. Let's go 23. Because the 23rd has already been. 4 July, 13, 4. So we get older posts. We get older posts. Okay, so I fiddled around a little bit more with this scraper because I thought it was very odd how it wouldn't scrape recent posts. And it seems that with some profiles, you just cannot scrape recent posts, and that's something you have to test around with because when I tried the CNN Twitter account, so this one, I could get their most recent posts from just today. If you look into this, I just changed the account to CNN. You can see it's the 24th of July at 12 a.m. That was like not long ago, a few hours ago, or 12 a.m. 12 hours ago, 15 hours ago, something like that. And then you can see here, 24 July. These are all 24 July. So this is all good. So you'll just have to play around with what profiles you can get recent posts with and what profiles you cannot get recent posts with. I'm just going to stick with CNN for now for the purposes of this video and testing around. And yeah, so the next thing we're going to do, now that I'm getting recent posts, is let me look back here. Where's the checklist? That's a YouTube one. Why is the checklist gone? Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we've scraped Twitter. Tick. Use AI to create draft posts. Okay. So to test this, again, I would love make.com to have a pin feature, but they don't. Which really is a shame. A pin to like be able to reuse data within modules. So you would have like a pin data feature, and then this data we'll be able to use over and over and over again, exactly like you can do in N18. It's very helpful. Okay, so we have the description, we have the tweet, and let's add the description in there. We'll add the date posted. So now I have to do this because I cannot pin the data, so I'm just manually putting in tweet, putting in the values that I would want, tweet URL. What else might I want? So I'm gonna say name. Maybe I want the name. The ID, I guess that's the tweet ID. I'm gonna keep that at ID for now. I'm guessing this is the tweet ID. What else might we want? Maybe likes. I think that could be interesting. Likes. Likes. I think I'll keep it at that for now. Biography. What is a biography? It's our job to hashtag go there. I'm not sure what that is. Not sure what a biography is. URL. Is this the tweet URL? Because I had the tweet here. Tweet URL. No, that looks like it. Yeah, yeah. Profile name. Okay. Maybe I'll add also the Twitter URL. Maybe I'll add this as well. Down there. Cool. So now I can use this. I'm just going to use this data over and over again. I think that's okay. Let's... I might want to look back to this. So what I'm going to do is create a new scenario. Let's create a new scenario quickly. Create a new one. Copy this. Paste it in here. Put the trigger there. Delete this. There we go. And yes, I cannot dynamically put it there. Whoops. That would have been an issue. Date posted. So we're just going to be using one. Date posted. Then we need the tweet URL, which I'm assuming is this. Then we need the name. Is this the... This is the Twitter name. I'm going to delete all these. Now, let's go Twitter name. Oh, I can just put that in there. That's CNN. ID doesn't really matter, but I will put it in just in case I do use the ID. The ID is this. ID likes doesn't matter. That one we won't use, or we won't. It's not required to like identify a post or anything. And then their Twitter URL, which is down here, I believe. Um. You know what? Let's just do it here. Let's go. What is it? 4. There we go. Okay. Save that. We can delete this. Okay, let's run this. So we have all this data. Now I'm going to reuse this data to test. So we have one bundle. Then we need to create a draft post. So what I might do is I might feed in this tweet to AI and then ask AI to do some research around this topic. And then give it our overall goal of what we are looking to get out of this. Or actually, no, we'll research about it and then we'll provide that research to standard GPT 4.0 or 4.1 to create the actual post. We will include the post here and then also our background research to improve upon this post. Of course, we cannot improve upon this post, but this is just for testing purposes and getting the core engine, I guess, of this automation up and running. So I'm going to go to OpenAI. I'm going to create a completion. And then let's see, I believe the model is research. O4 mini research. Let's do this one. Deep research. Okay, let's do messages. Develop assistant. You are a helpful, intelligent researching agent that researches for researches further context about what is being talked about in a tweet on Twitter X. Okay, I think that's okay for now. Let's do role user. Your job is to take a Twitter X post and tweet, and your job is to take a Twitter post and gather some surrounding research about the post itself, provide some more context to provide deeper understanding, and the end result for your context. What I want to do with this research is improve upon the posts that I show you, that I have provided in this prompt. Let me see how this goes. Here is the tweet. Along with some other information. Okay, so tweet Date posted. What else we need? Posted by CNN. Likes this. Maybe it can. I'll provide this just because it's deep search, so maybe it can access it. I'm not sure. Let's see what happened here. This model is only supported on V1 responses and not V1 chat completions. What does that mean? V is only supported on V1 responses. Create a model response. I'm guessing that means I need to use this module because it said a model response. If I zoom out, it said only supported on V1 model responses, and this says model response, so I assume it's this. Let's do O4 deep search. Prompt type, text prompt, max tokens. Yeah, I'll do 1000. Let's do 750 because tweets are generally pretty small. Okay, and then I'm going to copy and paste these prompts into here. It's going to be a little bit different because it looks like it's going to be entirely within one prompt. But let's just still paste this all in here. This is gonna take a bit because this needs to load. There we go. And there's gonna be one more after this. Last one. And then after this, we'll need to use the chat completion one. Here we go. And then there. Let's save this, detach this, run this. What has happened now? Deep search models require at least one of Web Search Preview or MCP tools. Show advanced settings. Temperature. Let's put this here. Search results of file, image URLs, image URL. What does that mean? I'm sure there was a model where you could just research because I've used it. Is it just a research model? Latest, mini. Maybe it's just search. Here we go, here's some more. Let's do GPT-4 mini search. Let's try this one. No. Okay. Yes, that's what I would have chosen the wrong model. We do use this, and I use not this one, not deep research, but we just do the standard search one. Okay, that's my bad. This should work now. I was confused. I was like, I've done this before. I've used search before. Okay, let's do mini search preview. Hopefully now it works. We got the prompts there still. Let's run this. Yeah, I was like, I've used this before. I don't know why this isn't working. Okay, let's see the result. Oh, okay, I mean, that's pretty good. That really is pretty good. Okay, now what we can do is provide this research. Provide research context around Twitter post. I still don't like saying X. Or maybe I do. research. Yeah, that's a bit better. Let's do this, create a completion. Now this one's going to be for creating the Twitter post itself. Create Twitter X post. Here we go. Let's do this. Model 4.1. Max can be like maybe 1 to 50. Let me actually copy this and change a few things. Copy that, paste it here. Helpful that you're helpful, intelligent. I didn't actually need to do that. Helpful, intelligent, writer that creates tweets for Twitter X. Yes. User, your job is to find unique angles to improve upon the Twitter X post that I provide you with. This does not mean to paraphrase what is said, but to find unique aspects, but to find unique points to improve, upon the post, the tweets. I have gathered some research surrounding the tweet to help you craft a interesting tweet. Here is the, I might have to improve that. Well, I would. Here is the tweet. And then I'll provide the tweet from here. Posted date. I'll add that. And I think that's okay. Posted by. Okay. Here is the research I have conducted surrounding the tweet that you shall use to create our improved, not paraphrased, tweet. And then I'll provide the result from before. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. That was very quick. What I want to see is the usage. 820 tokens, not too bad. Trump was reportedly alerted in May back in AG Palm that his name shows up several times. I mean, I don't really know if this sounds good. I'm so far from political stuff. Like, just give me some automation stuff and I'll see if it sounds good. But I did notice one thing. I do not want hashtags. I noticed there were hashtags in there. In the response, there were hashtags. So I'm going to add some hashtag rules. And I'm going to say, do not add hashtags or emojis to your tweet you create. Okay, and to do this, I'm actually going to manually put in a tweet that I am kind of familiar with in the automation industry in space. I might do, let's do make.com. We're using make.com, so why not? Let's do this. Hello, thanks everyone. Next, I'm a content writer and want to start learning automation. How can I combine both of them or upsell both my value? Yeah, let's just do this. It's pretty small, but yeah. Also, it could be useful doing images, although I don't really see like informative images on Twitter. I mean, that might just be me. It probably is just me, but I tend to see more images on tools like LinkedIn, for example. But this is good. I'm going to do that, and the tweet URL is not this. It is now this. And the ID is not that. I'll just keep it like that. Twitter URL. This guy. 140. Oof. Date posted. We'll keep it at that. And I think all of this is okay now. Let's see what happens. Now I should be able to see a bit more if this is what I'm looking for. Now this is a bit more down my alley. Let's see what research it did as well. I'll be able to understand more. This tweet from CNN. Okay, well, it's not from CNN. I must have forgotten to change that. Highlights the potential from content writers to significantly increase their income. Understanding N18. N18 is powerful. So it researches about N8N, open source, and then it researches about make.com, which is cool. Repurposing content, Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, and it references other tools, which is cool. Long form articles, benefits. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see the result. While most content writers grind away at one platform, mastering N18 and make.com means your words can multiply. Every blog post becomes a YouTube transcript, every article turns into a stream of shareable reels and shorts, and every trend is captured before it goes viral. Automation is your ticket to making every piece of content work overtime and your income too. That's not bad. That's actually not bad. What I'm going to do is a force of habit, is I'm going to change this temperature to 0.7. Temperature basically just shows how enthusiastic you want the AI to be. If I recall correctly, let's see. Higher temperatures generate more diverse and creative responses, yeah. 0.8, lower temperatures generate focused, more well-defined responses. So that's what I'm looking for. I kind of try to lower it a bit so it doesn't get too excited with itself. But yeah, no, that's not bad at all. While most content writers grind away at one platform, mastering N18 and make.com means your words can multiply. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think that's pretty cool. Now I'm thinking, doesn't add hashtags. Yeah, so I think that's good. I'm then going to add this to a Google Sheet. Sheets.new to this Google Sheet. We have to add our thing. No. There we go. There we go. Okay, so example, what is it going to be? Tweet posts, scraper, no, tweet posts, tweets, to post. Okay, let's go tweets, source URL. Tweet source URL. That's good. For now. Let's add a Google Sheet. Let's go add a row. The spreadsheet ID, I'm actually going to enter this manually. I'm going to do the spreadsheet ID, and I'm going to get this from the URL here. Everything after the /d and before the next /. Paste it in here. The sheet name we can get from down the bottom left here. It's called sheet 1 for us. Column range A to Z. Then in column A, what do we have? We had tweet, source, and source URL. So we tweet, which is this result. Source, which is this tweet. And then we have the URL, which is this one. So let's run this. See what we get. And after this, I'm going to plug this back into the main automation back in here. There we go. Let's see. What result did it come up with this time? Let's go Command Shift B. I just unbolded all of that. Okay. Unlock the next level of content writing by mastering platforms like, okay. So I don't like unlock. Unlock the next level of content writing. Imagine turning leads, trending topics into ready to publish articles, transforming YouTube videos. All while you focus on creativity, not manual tasks. The writers who automate will outpace and out-earn the rest. That is really bad this time. That is really bad. I do not think that is good. But everything's been put in here, and it's only a matter of prompting. I think what I'll do is provide a bunch of my past posts, train this AI on my past posts, and then it can write in my tone of voice. That's what I will do as well. So before I do that, I'm going to plug this back in to here. And then I'm going to name this #2. What are we going to name this? Get scraping content and get scraping content. What do I say? Research around tweet. Research around tweet. Create tweet. Create tweet. Add to sheet. Okay, that's okay. And then in here, I'm gonna say #1 initiate scraper Twitter X scraper. Okay, let's format this. Now in here, we need to replace some of these dynamic values with instead what is in the past JSON. So we're going to do the tweets, which is the description here. Then we're going to do the posted date, which is here. Then we're doing the posted by, this name right here. Then the results will stay the same. Anything in here we need to change? I feel like we would. But let's see. Let's go down here. Yes. Let's change this. Tweet is the description. Date posted is this. Twitter name. This. Likes down here somewhere. Name. Likes. Twitter URL. There we go. Okay. Let's save that. Looks like something is still missing here because there's a yellow bubble there. So let's see what's wrong. The result, it must be because this result, maybe it's changed the number. Let's just put that in there. And in here now, results is going to be from here tweet is going to be down here in description, and Twitter URL, tweet URL, sorry, is going to be here. The description, yes, I think that's okay. Save that. Now, I really want to see if there's someone in my industry who I can scrape recent posts from. There must only be limited posts. Let's go automation. No code automation. No code MBA. What's this? July 18. Can I clone? I'd like just a news site. I might just have to just not find one. It might take a while to do this. Maybe No Code Tech Summit. I need someone with like a good following as well. The no code guy. And I need someone who posts relatively regularly. Like November, when's this? February 26th. That's too late. No code supply. What's this? 3000 ear div. Maybe I think brands would just be better to do. Instantly AI. Only 1,000. I thought they had much more than that. Huh. What news could we do? What news could we do? Maybe we just do this. Maybe we just do this. Let's see. He reposts a lot. Maybe this. Learning how many kids. Okay. I just want to see if another post can do it. Another profile, I mean. Let's try this one. This still isn't super down like my alley, I guess. Some of the stuff, of course, but not that post there. Or vaccines. No, this is not really what I do. This seems to be much about health. Maybe SpaceX could have been better. But I need something that's like news, you know? Like something that's like automation news. Unfortunately, I don't know anyone really on here. News. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. AI automation news. Tweet this. Maybe this one. This could be interesting. Although he reposts a lot. Maybe just like this. Let's see. 31. Oh. Many images. Maybe this one. 421. Dun, dun, dun. 12 minutes ago, 1 hour ago. Yeah, I'll just leave this for now. I'd have to spend some time looking at who I would scrape. And that's something you'll have to take some time on as well, of course. Experiment with posting short eye-catching tweets. Try sharing during peak hours. Include a clear call to action and respond quickly to comments. These small changes can spark bigger conversations and boost your reach. I want to see when this post was posted. Where are we? Here. No public posts were found in the profile for the specified period. dead page. Again, unless I'm providing the incorrect URL. What if I go on CNN again? And then I go into the profile, go here. Is this just the wrong URL, or are just many posts or many accounts not accessible to recent posts? Because if not, that'd definitely be a bit of a shame. Because then you'd really have to look. You'd really have to look. But let's have a look. So it's scraping 2 posts here. You can see it's searching the second one. And it's going to create the post. I also want to see, when were these posts created? 24 July. 24 July. So that is a bit of a shame. But you can see we have a whole bunch of posts here for the first time. Then we got refreshing or scraping all the recent posts from CNN. Let's see if we can find the post. Let's head back here. Attorney General. Oh, we have the post URL. What one is this? Attorney General. How far down is that? There's only a couple. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, so that's a bit of a shame. I would have liked if it could be with all posts, but perhaps it's something with the Twitter API itself, as opposed to just the scraper. How do you spell his name? Kevin O'Leary. Maybe I do someone like this. Okay. Because I really like to be able to do more than just a few Twitter profiles. It would be really nice. But let's see. Let's see. And if it isn't, then I guess it just is the way it is. And yeah, you just have to look around a little bit more. And I would have to look around a little bit more. Test with a whole bunch of different profiles. But fingers crossed this one works. Would love if it did work. And then is there anything else we want to do? Because if we head back into here, we've used AI to research around the post, and then we've also added it to a Google Sheet. So we've done an extra step here by researching around the post itself. You could add some like formatting, because it looks like in here they seem to all be in just one chunk of text. Whereas in Twitter, you sometimes you want to get creative with your formatting. So maybe I'll mention that to the AI. Say, be like, hey, don't be shy to get creative with your formatting. Okay, so we got 0 outputs. Did this initiate it? Application, snapshot ID. Let me see here. I'm going to run this again. Save this, run this. Make sure this is running. Okay, it's running. Let's see what happens. It should send a notification to the webhook. It has 0 records. That will be why it's not sending the notification. That really is a bit of a shame. That really is a shame. But anyway, I guess that's something we'd have to work around. Just means a little bit more searching for the Twitter accounts that you can scrape recent posts from. And yeah, I think the last thing I want to do is just tell AI to get creative with the formatting. Also, you don't only have to get recent posts. This is just for my use case. I would want recent posts. Unless I was posting about automations, like automation in general, not all being about the latest news, right? I could scrape instead automations that people have built and then comment on that in some way. I'd have to do a bit of brainstorming there, but you don't only have to report, and I don't only have to report on the latest things. Heck, I don't even do that now on my LinkedIn, so I think that was kind of the goal in mind, but I might have to reframe that goal in my mind and say, hey, this might not be entirely possible with all the accounts that you want to do. So you could trim them down and look around for ones you can create and scrape their recent posts for, or you could take a different approach to scraping possibly some of their slightly older posts, but then do something else. Instead of it being news, maybe just informative posts, even like, for example, just an informative post like the one I had earlier about the automation, where I was like, automation is the biggest thing. If you write email content and you use AI to create your content, you're gonna get ahead. This guy here, do we see it? Yes, this guy. Like these posts. If I scrape these posts, even if it was 1, 2, even if it was like 6 months old at this point, it would still be pretty good. And because we're doing our research around it, we're getting more up-to-date information, and then this post all of a sudden gets upgraded and updated. So yeah, I've actually talked myself out of what I said earlier. I just have to reframe how I see this automation and what I scrape. So then it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't even need the state anymore, because that's actually what I'll do. I don't want latest posts anymore, so I'll just remove this because I don't really care about that. And that could actually be good. You kind of using past posts, you're bringing them up and kind of giving them a new life. Especially if you filter them based on likes, you could filter them, say, hey, I only want posts with X amount of likes, right? So it did good in the past, and you pull that up, you do some context, some research around it, with current data, with the current things that are happening in the world and online and in the automation space, and you basically give that post a new life on your profile. So that could be very cool. But what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to say, don't be shy to give the tweets a I won't say don't be shy, I'll say be sure to format the tweets in different ways other than just a chunk of text, e.g. using bullets, points, and things. No emojis, though, or hashtags. I'll say that again. Okay, let's see if this works. I might have to, is it here? Yeah. I'm going to paste this in here. No, I'm not. I'm going to just update this because I just want to see. Or, no, I'll use this because I removed that. I was going to say I removed the date, and now I'm not looking to get the latest news. I didn't post about that, so I don't need the latest news. I might just do Mr. Wonderful. Why not? Why not? I just want to test this. Ah, it's already Mr. Wonderful. Let's run this. Let's run this now. This should work. This should work. Let's run this away. Figuring out how to do this webhook thing was a big achievement for me today. I didn't know how to do this before. I'd spent countless hours trying to do this, and it seems it was just a small little fix. It's always that way for me. I spend hours and hours trying to fix issues, and then it turns out it's the smallest issue. And then once I know it, and I'll never have to spend hours on it again. And that same thing. I'll never have to do that again. I'll always know how to trigger these webhooks in make.com. Prior to knowing this, like for example in N18, I would add a loop node and I'd add a wait node or a sleep node in make.com where I would trigger the scraper and then I'll just wait 2 minutes and then loop back into a node which checks the status of the scraper. And I'll continue doing that until the status of the scraper went to ready or the scraper was complete. Okay. And now I know how to do webhooks, which is good. It's much more efficient. So let's do this and see the results. Did it add a good format? What in the world is that? That is not a tweet link. They are... he created... ChatGPT created more than one post. So I might need to specify that to ChatGPT. Say, hey, I only want one post. I don't want 5. And it did that each time. So, yeah. I mean, you could do multiple different versions. It wouldn't hurt. We could do that. Should we do multiple versions? Yeah, why not? I think even from my perspective, I think that'd be helpful. Let's do 3 tweets. Let's do, this is 3. This is 2. Source URL. So this has gone to D and E. D and E now. This is in D. This is in E. And then we need tweet 1, 2, and 3. And then instead I'm going to ask it to output its content in JSON. So then we can easily map it. And I'm going to specify the JSON that I want. So let's go down here. Say output your content. Output your answer in this JSON. Then I'm going to do square. I believe it's square bracket. It's not curly bracket, is it? I think it is actually. I had a mind blank. Is it square bracket? No, it's square bracket, I think. I don't actually know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So I'm going to do tweet 1. Quote space, dun. What? Whoops. And then I'm going to do 2 quotes, tweet 2. Space, dun. And then I'm going to do tweet 3. Quote space 2 of these. And then I'm going to do, what else was there? There was source, i.e. the tweet itself. So source. No, I don't need source. That's all I need from ChatGPT, right? Yes, that's all I need. Okay. I feel like that looks wrong. I feel like it's meant to be this. No, that also looks wrong. I've definitely done something wrong here. That looks completely wrong. Maybe it's just been a big day. And I put this in the wrong one. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Full stop. I'm going to close this scenario within my browser so I don't accidentally write in this one again. I'm going to go back to the one I was meant to do it in. Give it a second to load. Go here. There we go. Then I have to do this again, and I'm gonna limit it to 1 just for the testing purposes. So I'm gonna run this. So again, limiting it to 1 using this limits per output to 1. Again, meaning that just scrapes 1 post. No start or end dates, because we don't need that anymore. Or I don't need that anymore. I don't want that anymore. This is actually the way I would do it if I were going to use this. Maybe I'll use it. I'll definitely refine the prompts a bit more. That's for sure. Yeah, that did not work. And I'll tell you why that didn't work. Because I need to pass this JSON. So if we go to JSON, I need to pass the JSON. The JSON string is going to be this. And then we'll need to use the variables from here. So I'm going to detach this. I'm going to run this again and run this again. And now we should, with the pass JSON, get a bunch of different variables. Well, 3 different variables for tweet 1, 2, and 3 for us to be able to map into our Google Sheet. So I'm actually going to delete this. And then we can map it into tweet 1, 2, and 3. Nicely. If I wrote the JSON format correctly in the ChatGPT node. That is. Okay, so it's not valid JSON, so I did not write it correctly. No, I did not. What did I do wrong here? You know what I might do to save a little bit of time? This loads, here we go. Is this valid JSON for Google? No, just valid JSON. So that I can pass JSON. I felt like something was wrong. Yeah, I was like, this looks completely wrong. Although that's not what I usually do. I can't. What do I usually do? I'm sure I usually do that. I cannot think today. Ah, it's with curly braces. That's the issue. I was thinking it was with curly braces. I'm like, something looks wrong here. So I think that's the issue. It's curly braces and not square brackets. My brain is certainly not braining today. It is certainly not braining. Okay, let's go. The scraper is actually working very fast, which is nice. In Bright Data. And there we go, it's valid JSON. This ran, and now we have tweet 1, tweet 2, tweet 3 that we can conveniently map into our Google Sheets module. So we can go this was D and this was E. Then we can delete this, this, and this. Go tweet 1 here, go tweet 2, and here, go tweet 3. Now we can map those. I want to see the format's still. I'm in. Imagine if the progress of MS. Elon Musk, the architect. Given how Larry isn't alone in thinking. Okay. This is okay. I'll still. What is the format that it puts it in? Because these are all big chunks of texts. I might say something like, again, don't be afraid of putting it in a cool format. Again, be sure to format the tweets in different ways other than just a chunk of text. Now let's see what it does. Hopefully this works. Also, for those of you who are wondering about billing and how much this cost, It is very cheap. It really is. It's really, really cheap. I've consumed 62 cents across all of the videos I've created about Bright Data. And these are most of them are over 1 hour videos. So I've used Bright Data a lot and I've scraped a lot of stuff with it. So the pricing, I'd say, or for the web scrapers anyway, it's almost what's similar to Apify. But for the amount I've used it and for me only consuming 62 cents, I mean that amazes me really. That is extremely cheap. I've used this like a lot. I've used the MCP very thoroughly. I've used many of their web scrapers very thoroughly, and I've consumed 62 cents. It's actually pretty wild. It's very, very cheap. So yeah, and you only have to insert $10 to start, and that will take you a long way, especially if you use these web scrapers. Most things cost you around $1 per 1,000 results. So if you scraped 1,000 tweets, it'll cost you, give or take, $1. So that's pretty good. 1,000 tweets for $1 is very cheap. And here we go. Let's see the format it's put it in. It's still a chunk of text. And it seems that way because it's been put in here. And it must be because of the JSON format. What if I say here? You cannot do that here. I was gonna say, what if I output the content as JSON? But that doesn't work. How can we format this? Do we need to format it? Do we need to format it? Like, where's tweet 2? Tweet 2. We don't need to format it. Cool. So I don't think we need to format it because we can see this is formatted. I wanted to see tweet 2 because it has these /ends. And these /ends represent new lines. These ones don't have that. So that's good. I wanted to double check that and wanted to ensure that it could format itself, and it can. So that's cool. That's very cool. And now, I think this is pretty much it. We've got it nicely formatting, adding a row to a Google Sheet. Let's make this a bit more organized there. Using the webhooks. And this is everything. This is everything. This simple, pretty small automation, really, relatively small. It will be very operationally efficient. The operations in Make.com, the consumptions will be rather low compared to other scenarios you could build, other automations you could build within Make.com, and doing this all using Bright Data at really an incredibly low price, on par with Apify, and doing all of this stuff with Bright Data, with Make.com. It's a small automation, but it's definitely a very powerful one. Where researching around the entire tweet itself to give the AI more context as to what it should write about. We are scraping Twitter and then adding it all into a Google Sheet that's nicely formatted. One thing I would do, and I will show you right now, it's just a matter of prompting, right? Figuring out what do you like, what don't you like, and then adjusting the prompt accordingly. This is the same with AI in anything you do, but what I would do is go add message and go assistant. Assistant basically provides like templates almost, or tone of voice kind of that they should follow. And what I'll put in this assistant is previous posts you have posted to your Twitter that you want ChatGPT to take as context, as reference when it starts creating its own tweets, if that makes sense. So it will use your posts and then almost use them as a template to write in that tone of voice. Right? So that's what I'll do here. And then I'll just simply, this is all I'll do. I'd copy and paste my past posts, like this maybe. Usually I post threads. But I'll just simply post that in there. And I'll be like, example 1, I'd say something like, below are some example tweets that I have written in the past. Example 1, and then I'll go here, example 2, and then I would paste another one, whatever other one there is, maybe like this. And then by doing this, and doing a bunch of these, ChatGPT would then be able to write within your tone of voice. And it will be able to better reflect how you write, right? So I can even give you an example of this. Let's run it. And it should then, hopefully, I only provided it 2, but hopefully, write similar to kind of this, with this type of format. I did provide an emoji there, so it'll be interesting what OpenAI, what ChatGPT does there, because you can see here I have these 3 emojis. So will it keep the emoji or will it remove it? Let's see. So this is going, Bright Data is running and it's completed. This, maybe I need to refresh. Refresh here. There we go. Now it's running. We're researching that context again. I think it's so cool how we can get context around the actual post itself. Imagine history lesson. There we go. That's more like what I would post in that format. So that's partly why I did 3 tweets as well, and I decided to do that because these are all based off the one tweet, but then I can pick and choose the tweet that I want to use, right? So I get 3 options. This one and this one, they're pretty short, but I'll probably be more appealed to do this one. And these posts would also be influenced, the structure to the original post. The original post is a big chunk of text, so that's probably why 2 of them are indeed just a chunk of text, and then it has also provided one in the format really that I would write it in, which is nice. And yeah, this is like how I would write if I wanted to be short. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I think that's everything. I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. And yeah, I'm probably gonna make a couple more videos about Bright Data, see how it does, and I'm really enjoying it at the moment. I think it's an amazing tool. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one.